Welcome back to Temeron's Tactics. This is AI War Fleet Command Gameplay Tutorial Part 16. In the last video, we captured Yuquan and corrupted the Cutlass. In this video, we're going to try to reduce the AI progress just a little bit. We've also got to do just a little bit more scouting to remind ourselves where the enemy's ships are and other little maintenance maneuvers. So let's just pause it for a few moments here. Okay, now we've got two sets of bombers coming into Murdra. If we go over to Murdra, we do have some defenses here. We've got these missile turrets, these MLRS turrets out here, and if I hit B and go to the turrets, you can see what I've placed out there. Now, we haven't placed any missile turrets yet, and that's what's going to shoot down those bombers. They have the bonus versus polycrystal. So let's go ahead and put a couple of those missile turrets out there. I'm going to place them so that they cover both of those warp gates and wrap around the back of our base a little bit so that they will cover any bombers that come from the back. Okay, I'm going to place them all right in this spot right here. So this fight will happen. These Dysons will start to go defend, and then every Dyson that enters either of these gates on their patrol across our empire will also join in on that fight. So that'll really help to save us from anything that could come in and take out those buildings. We also have this Spire mining ship here. Now this is something that we should definitely talk about. We have 163,000 energy, and this Spire mining ship allows us to build specialized starships on these asteroids. Now the good asteroids here are the Zampite ones, these white crystally looking asteroids. Okay, those are rare. If you see in the tooltip there, it says rarity rare. That means that this is a higher quality asteroid than these other common asteroids. All right. So if I go to the Zampite tab on the mining enclosure, the Spire mining ship, Zampite tab, there's a whole bunch of ships here that we could build. Building it will consume the asteroid. Okay. We can only build 4, 8, or 12 of each of these, maybe 16 on this one. Okay. Now, considering that we have the 9-Zool rail pod, which is what we use to capture Yuquan, which can shoot all the way across the solar system there, I think it would be a really good idea for us to pick up these Spirecraft Translocator Mark IIIs. These have 60 medium-range rail cannons with a knockback effect. Okay, so that's going to push ships away from our fleet and at a range of 10,000, which is a pretty good range, push them back, and then our rail cannons will be able to shoot them from a distance. So that's going to be a really good combination with something that we've already unlocked. There's a lot of good ships on this list. You know, if you ever capture a system and have good asteroids, you should look through all of them and see if anything works really nice with what you've unlocked so far. And this translocator does that, just exactly that. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to hold down shift, and I'm going to place one on that asteroid, and then just place one on that asteroid as well. That's going to cost 18,000 energy each and 750,000 metal each. So that's all of our money. All of our metal, rather. That's all of our metal. So we need to, be a little bit cautious about spending metal while these are being built. There's, let's see. There's no engineers on this system currently. Where are all of our engineers at? Let's take a look back at the map, hitting tab, and I'm going to drop down under displaying here. Engineers are not listed here. But if you go down to custom search broad at the very, very bottom, it opens another window at the bottom here, and there's a whole bunch that you can drop out here. Okay, engineer is on that list. All right. There it is right there. Now note that sometimes when you click on that list, it randomly goes to the next thing on the list, you see, or a couple down. I don't know why that is. So sometimes you need to reselect it a few times to get it back to engineer. All right. Doing that, we can see I have 11 engineers here at Durban. I don't need 11 engineers at Durban. Yeah, let me just grab those engineers, and I'm going to send them to my homeworld at Bozzy. Okay. Another thing that's important on this map view is the knowledge. We did cover this in a previous video, but we need to do it again now. I'm going to go back to knowledge found. You can also just hit K to bring up this menu. Okay. And we can see that I've collected all the knowledge from here, but I have not collected it from Durban, which we do control, or from Yuquan, which we also now control. Hasbang is neutral and paroled by friendly ships, and I haven't put a science lab there either, and I could. Okay, so let's go to Murdra. I'm going to hit S to select the advanced research station here, and I'm going to ask that ship to go to Hasbang and research. I think there's also a science lab in Algier. Yes, and I'm going to ask it to go to Durban. And then there's one in Pabonmati. I'm going to ask it to go to Yuquan. So that'll be 9,000 more science for us. All right. Right now I have 4,000. If I were to go to any of those science labs that I just selected, I could unlock the Mark III and 4 fighter for another 4,000. Let's go ahead and unlock the Tier 3 and 4 fighter. I'm going to go back to my home world here, hit D to select my dock, and then you can see I've got the Tier 3 and 4 fighters available. So let's go ahead and unpause. Now there's another thing that I mentioned in the last video that I want to do in this video, and that is look at the AI progress reduction. That's another map setting. I'm going to go here and detected AI progress reducers. Okay, we can see right here that there's a DC here, that's a data center, here at Rauplu and another here at Pelea. We also have one way up here at Seni and one in Hasbang, which is unprotected and safe for us to take. Okay, so let's go back to our human raid starships here in our fleet. I'm going to grab those 3 human raid starships, which do 4 times damage against structural, and have an ultralight hull. I'm going to grab them and send them over to Hasbang. Okay, now that our human raid ships are there, I'm going to select them, and I'm just going to ask them to attack that data center, and then I'm going to hold down Shift and right-click out here, which tells them to move out of that area as soon as they're done, because there's a gun turret right next to it. You see? That'll let these pilots of these ships use their own discretion to get out of there as fast as they possibly can and take the least fire as they can. Okay, so that reduced our AI progress by 20. You see? Let's go ahead and move those ships back to our fleet. Now our AI progress is from 133 down to 113. I'm going to pause it. Let's go ahead and do the same thing here at Rauplu and at Pelea, but we need to scout these data centers first. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab those human raid starships, and I'm going to have them just jump into Pelea right now. As soon as they appear, I'll pause it. There they are, because they're going to get attacked right away. I'm going to grab those ships and right-click on that data center, and then I'm going to hold down Shift and right-click and right-control-click right on that gate. So they'll go through and then right back through the gate. Unpause. Human raid starships are very, very, very useful. Okay. As you can see, normally this would be a siege, a little bit of a siege to take down that data center, but they just fly right in and just destroy it with that shield, no problem. And then they escape right back to Yaquan. Easy. They have enough hit points that they can survive a little surgical attack like that, even though they've flown by some turrets and have taken some damage. Once they go back in, those mobile bases just immediately repair them to full health. I'm going to grab those 3 raid starships and ask them to go to Rauplu. I'll pause it as soon as they appear. There they are. I'm going to grab those 3 raid starships, right-click that data center, and then I'm going to hold down Shift to issue a waypoint, Control to tell them to go through it, and right-click that warp gate. Unpause. There they go. On their little surgical strike. See, there's that MLRS Guardian there. If we had to siege that, that would cause us a lot of trouble. And now we don't, because we've got those specialized ships. Now we can take a look up here. We've got 73 AI progress, down from 130. Major difference, am I right? The floor is 26, so we could still go down a whole lot more. And, there is one more up here at Seni. Let me go back to that detected AI progress reducers again. There's another one here, okay? And there's a lot more over in this area somewhere that we have not yet discovered, okay? We need to do more scouting to find the rest of those. But, reducing it from 130 down to 73, that's going to really, really reduce the volume of enemy ships that are thrown at us and the amount of danger that the enemy poses to us. So that's excellent. All right. We've got 43 ships here. I'll grab them and move them to Yaquan to join our fleet. I'm also going to grab all the ships at our home world and move them to Yaquan to join our fleet. That does include a full complement of Tier 3 and Tier 4 fighters this time as well. All right, so our fleet is even bigger. Again, you're watching Temeron's Tactics. My name is Nuck Temeron. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for the continuation of this gameplay tutorial series.